Hello everyone, all rise, the dishonorable Judge Hannah presiding for another Tinfoil day. How's everyone doing? Hoping you're having a good week so far. I took a couple days off for the end and beginning of the month, so it's nice to see you all again. Oh, and we're on a hype train, good timing. How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing well. My lighting's a little different, so I look a little bright. I don't know if I can adjust this slightly. It's fine. Whatever. I can make myself purple. Ooh. Yellow. This one. Blue? That's a color. Anyway, I cleaned my office, so that's good. I needed it real bad. How's everyone doing? Let's see what's going on with the hype train. And we have so much tinfoil to look at today. We have a bunch of fun stuff from Chris to the Cabbage People talking about Spy Kids, one of my favorite kids movies. So we have all sorts of good stuff to look at. Let's see what's going on in chat. Hi, Mr. Blast. How you doing? Hello, everyone on YouTube, if you could. Paul the Potato, Densetsu, the Miss Jamie Show. How's everyone doing? Royal Ann. If you could like the stream, I'd appreciate it. Helps out a lot. It helps the stream get seen by new people. Hey Nemesaur, how's it going? Moss Sloth, what's up? Lady Ann, thanks for 48 months, says happy to be able to catch a stream. I'm in, WNC, and we're recovering from, Western North Carolina, and we're recovering from the hurricane. It's pretty brutal. I've seen some of the videos. I'm glad that you're safe, and, make sure you stay safe, just because I saw how devastating it is. Seriously, my thoughts are with you. Are we doing bingo? We are doing bingo, so make sure you get your bingo cards ready. Andrew Blah, thanks for 21 months, says Spy Kids, a famously accurate source of information. Excuse you, all films with Danny Trejo are true. Fact. Hookah, thanks for 300 bits. 33% to level 2 on the hype train. Steve with the Q, thanks for 300 bits. Terradona, thanks for 100. Lucas Dawn, thanks for 40 months, says hello all. Hello to you as well. And we're caught up. 33% to level 2. On the hype train. Terrence Howard just dropped a new podcast appearance. Ooh, do you know where? You know what's the name of the show? I could look it up, and maybe we could slip it in today somewhere, if we have the time. If not, I'll save it for another day. Terrence Howard's weird math stuff is always fun. Hey, Anthony, how's it going? Anyway, while the hype train's going, let's take a look at Chris's newest fare, shall we? Going with some avant-garde angles this time.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. 9/27/24.
Do shows with Danny Trejo count because he was in Mr. Bertram? No. Only cinematic feature films. That's the rules. I don't make them, I just adjudicate them. Kurt Mulgrew, thanks for 24 months. Happy 2nd anniversary.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to... What I want you to do is I want you to just... Today's a Friday. I like to put a video out every Friday. Try to get you thinking, just in case if I'm unable to put something out.
There are 2 lights!
A weekend.
I think it would work. If Chris was the one that had to torture me for information, it might work.
Close your eyes for a minute.
They're not.
You're seeing total darkness right now. Now, if you're driving, don't do this. Okay? You're seeing total darkness right now, and you don't... You're in your crib. You're only a couple of months old. You can't walk. All you can do is just wiggle around. Okay? And you're looking up. Right? And most cribs had an arm, a plastic arm that came over the crib, and it had this little light right here.
Nemesaur, thank you so much for gifting 10 tier 1 subs and getting us to like 94% to level 4 on the hype train. Thank you so much. Overthought with 100 bits says POV, you're strapped to a table with no way to escape, and now you have to hear about Flat Earth. Level 4 complete. Heck yeah. Crib light? No, he's talking about like a mobile. He means a mobile, but I don't think he knows the word.
And around circles around it, and everything was round when you were looking at it.
Not everything is round when you're looking at it. Like when I was a kid, there's different mobiles. You can get mobiles with little airplanes on them. You can get them with, of course, like rocket ship stuff. You can get them with all sorts of characters or like shapes or animals. A wide variety. It's a category of product, not all circles or spheres.
You didn't know what they were, did you? You had no idea. You had no clue. You just look at that thing. Yeah, it's cool, I guess.
Probably don't stick a light like that directly above your baby's bed. Because it's already, this is just through a camera, and it's kind of burning a hole in my retinas.
You could think. You didn't even know the language. And then one day you were told that's what you live in. That's what's above you. A yellow star with...
Oh, you put it back the wrong direction. It's a very Michael Scott mistake to make.
Circles and everything like that. And when you entered school at that point, that's what they told you too. That you live on this ball with all these continents. Now, sorry. All these continents and this blue water.
The gravity must be real, otherwise how would Chris stick sideways on the Earth like this? Am I right?
And there's nothing...
Does this count as doesn't know how cameras work? No, this doesn't count. Flat Earth, though. Flat Earth on the bingo card.
Else out there like it at all in this vast universe.
My wife's sub ran out. Someone gift my wife a sub. We're both broke bitches.
That just continues.
Speaking of which, if you want to get us closer to another costume month, you can always use the tip goal, or the tip command. That's always helpful. Hey, Mr. Blast, we did it. Nepotism wins. Although nepotism solved the problem that nepotism created. So, there you go. It's a self-sustaining system.
And on with galaxies and all this other bullshit and all this other nonsense. But you didn't know. You were an infant. You went through school with a globe in front of you all the time. You went through high school thinking they were astronauts, real people going up into space.
I also left high school thinking that. I still think that, because it's the truth. Caradona, thanks for gifting a sub. Toriador with 50 bits says, I always knew Cece's view of the world was skewed, but this is ridiculous. Ba-doonch. 36% to level 5 with a minute left.
You know, that could be you. The person sitting next to you right now, filling out a newspaper, not newspaper, but a piece of paper right now, doing his quiz, is going to become the next astronaut. Well, he might very well be, but he has to be institutionalized in order to become that person.
That's not what that word means.
That's right, he has to enter the military, become that person. Okay? You're not going to see a civilian ever go into space. And if you do, they're going to say it is space when they're...
Wait, that's already happened. Civilians have already been into space. Like, literally, SpaceX recently did the first space walk with a civilian. So Chris is wrong about that.
They're only going about 70 miles up there.
30 seconds on the hype train.
NDT even says you cannot see a curve at all, unless if you're out in space, which is past the Van Allen belt. You know what the Van Allen belt is? That's a poisonous area.
That's probably not how I would describe it.
Apparently.
Radioactive. Yeah.
It goes on for
Thanks for the hype train, everyone.
30 or 40 miles.
No, this isn't an old video. This came out September 27th, so in the last week.
We passed through with no problem back in 1969, but we can't figure
Literally, the spacewalk thing happened, like, within the last 2 weeks, so it's even a recent thing he could have seen on the news recently.
it out here in 2024. 2024. I want you to think about that year. That's the year you're in right now. We went to the moon in 1969 with nothing.
We had a rocket.
The electronics that are on your phone right now that you're watching me, or that TV you're watching me, that smart TV, it's got more electronics than that fucking capsule that went to the moon.
Ironically, that's part of the problem, is that things run on much more, like, delicate electronics now that are more complicated and also much more useful. But, like, you need a lot of shielding to protect all that stuff. I have no doubt we're going to do more space stuff moving forward. Although with SpaceX on it, I don't know how fast it'll go. But, like, yeah, you're kind of describing one of the reasons it's a problem, is that, first of all, our safety standards are higher. We're not in the middle of the Cold War like we were, at least not the same kind of thing. So we're not throwing people and not being very concerned about their life. You know what I mean?
All right. You know, I brought up the crib and me looking over, you know, it just such a point for everybody to understand that's what you were brought up with, okay? And it takes something like us, flat earthers, to finally break out of that cage and try to figure out what the fuck is going on. And the people that are still in that cage, that persist on doing what they're doing, of nonsense and not helping us and going against us, obviously are trolls. And that's what they are. That's what they are. If they haven't woken up yet and figured all of this out, everything that's going on with the presidency in Hollywood, that it's all fake and it's all bullshit. And it's all nonsense. And they haven't even mentioned any of it at all. None of them will. They'll always be trying to fight us about nonsense, as far as I'm concerned, because it's all truth. This is what it is. The earth is flat.
I don't think Cece's kids are adults. I think he does have one that's in school.
Sure, they're mountains. But unfortunately, you are contained. Just like you were in a crib. And the only thing you'll ever see, at all, is that little... Oh, God. I mean, fuck. I don't even know where to begin or end on this. But, you know, I've had... Fuck. So many ideas of this video, but...
He just gets so mad and like, he works himself up. I can't... It's so interesting watching him. He just sits there, and he's just alone, and he just talks himself into frustration. Like, it's the wildest thing to watch him do over and over every day, every time he films a video. He must do this when he's alone, too, and not filming. Just sits there and stews and thinks about, like, imaginary scenarios that make him mad. How interesting. What a frustrating life. Like, what a hard way to go about day to day, just in a cycle of you can't stop imagining scenarios in which you're getting fucked, you know?
I fucked it up. Sorry. It's the pain here, you know? It's almost healed up. Just refuse to take the fucking shit that they want me to take. That's it. Why haven't you gone to CVS? Oh, my insurance didn't cover it. First off, I have to go somewhere else. But anyway, this is almost done. When it is, we're going to have a little walk about and talk. I can't fucking wait. I've been locked up in here for fucking 6 weeks now.
Hey, Storm over Kryn.
Thank you for subbing and thank you for viewing my videos. Let me be a party of life.
Oh, he's doing just excellent. So I think all we had on that one was Flat Earth. I think. Let's go ahead and get into the titular video of this stream, and that is about Spy Kids. I'm excited for this one. Spy Kids is one of my favorite kids movies, so should be fun to watch.
Hey guys. So out of nowhere, I randomly watched Spy Kids again. Don't ask me why, it just came up on Hulu. And I hadn't seen it since I was a
That's the answer why.
kid.
Don't ask me why. Explanation why.
And I forgot how weird this movie is.
The Robert Rodriguez movie.
Like when I was a kid, I remember loving this movie so much, but I wasn't paying attention to any of the details. I think most people just remember the animated thumb people and
They're called thumbs, sir. Put respect on their name.
that's what kind of burns into their minds.
Yeah, this is the cabbage guy. He's got opinions on cinema.
However, there are some very unsettling things about this movie that I wanted to briefly cover as it seems to be revealing some secret truths about our world.
Media is secretly evil on the bingo card.
Now, there are 3 movies, but the second and third are kind of just cash grabs to continue the franchise after the first movie.
I'm incredibly offended by this statement. I'm willing to give you Spy Kids 3. I'm willing to give you Spy Kids 3 as a cash grab and is basically a movie they just slapped Spy Kids on in order to make money. There is also a 4th. I think there's also a 5th, but we're not going to get into that today. Spy Kids 2 Island of Lost Dreams, though, is what we call in the industry the GOAT. So don't come at me with this Spy Kids 2 is just a cash grab. Spy Kids 2 is the gem of the franchise. Spy Kids 2 has an entire Ray Harryhausen skeleton stop-motion fight homage fight scene. It's beautiful, and I won't take this. I won't take this sitting down, okay? Fuck off. Spy Kids 2 is great.
But I feel like the first movie is the most insane out of all of them. Don't get me wrong, there are some things to mention about the other movies.
And before you ask, yes, I own the Spy Kids trilogy on Blu-ray. Hannah mentions Blu-ray.
But they just don't give me the creeps like the
Did I hear the girl from the Spy Kids movies is an essential oil MLM now? I did know that. It's unfortunate.
original film. I mean, really think what this movie's about.
It also had a song that was surprisingly popular. Who, what, where, when, and why? Na, 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 na. What do I intend to find this time? I love dreams. And there was a music video where the boy from Spy Kids has Heelys, and he Heelys onto stage and does a sweet guitar solo.
You have secret government programs with advanced tech.
I watched that DVD a lot as a kid, and it had the music video on the special features. Rots, thanks for 26 months, says Hannah, do you think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created? Steve Buscemi's greatest film line he ever spoke. True. True.
The guy who's mind controlling the youth through his demonic TV show.
It's not demonic. You can say it's evil, but it's not demonic. Demons never show up in the Spy Kids franchise. Unless they show up in 4. I've never seen 4.
You have memory wiping.
Or 5? I feel like there were 2 reboots. I feel like there was a Spy Kids 4 with, like, Joel McHale? And then I feel like a few years ago they tried to reboot it or something, but I could be wrong.
Genetic experiments, AI clones, fake virtual worlds, and strangely, human
Yeah, there's the Shark Boy and Lava Girl movies, which are a completely separate universe, I think. Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and We Could Be Heroes on Netflix, which I guess is in the same universe.
trafficking. And mind you, this is a film.
Have I seen Shark Boy and Lava Girl? I saw Shark Boy and Lava Girl in theaters With the 3D glasses.
Made for
I wish I'd kept the 3D glasses.
children. Well, the film starts out where the mother of two children is telling them a bedtime story about two spy lovers who eventually quit the secret government spy life, fell in love, and had children. We are then shown that this story was actually a true story, and the parents are still very much spies and have advanced tech secretly hidden in their house. They're now trying to live normal lives, but can't escape the spy life fully. Now, I know most of you guys are going to say that I'm overthinking this, but let's see what you think by the end of the video.
Okay.
But one thing I couldn't help but notice is literally within the first 2 minutes of the film, there are like 3 pentagrams in this kid's room.
Have conspiracy theorists forgotten what stars are? Because I see this more and more often, where they will look at any depiction of a 5-pointed star and go, ah, pentagram. No! Stars are a more common use of the 5-pointed star than pentagrams. Have they psyoped themselves into forgetting that? It's crazy. Like, when I was a kid, I had, you know, stars, those glow-in-the-dark stars that you could, like, they were plastic and you could, like, stick them on your walls or whatever. Like, star symbolism is just a thing with kids, right? MH Darkbeast, thanks for 52 months, says, greetings, Hannah, it's spooky season, so here's my contribution along with my resub. Oh, God.
Hi, I'm the Vampire Carpet Man, and before you go out and buy new carpeting, you know who to call.
Merv Griffin.
No, call Vampire Carpets. You know the number.
555-2170.
No, I thought it was 813.
Yeah, at Vampire Carpets, we come directly to your home, usually in the middle of the night when you don't expect us. We bring a wide variety of samples. Blood samples, junior samples.
This is ridiculous.
Only Vampire Carpets does that. You remember our number.
555-2170.
No, it's 813.
Vampire will send out our professional installation team, and we'll put down your carpet like this.
I wouldn't say that carpet's ugly, but the moths refused to eat it and ordered out for a pizza.
Local and regional comedy is something, isn't it? Amber Pretzels, thanks for 30 months, says, hi, I'm chained up at my job by obligation. Please be merciful. I'll do my best. And Ash and Asphodel, thanks for 22 months. Fennikagami with 33 says, I'm so tired of everything that's evil is demonic. It's just so boring and repetitive. Why can't these people just try having more than 2 brain cells? By the way, Dead Domain is getting name-dropped by Steven Anderson now. He's definitely not mad. Oh, that's hilarious.
Anyone who knows about set design knows that this is no accident. There are 2
Not an
pentagrams
accident, it's just a star.
that are pointing down that are lit up decorations for the kids' room, and then the mother, as she tells her story, is wearing a shirt with a flower pentagram, and again,
That's not even a pentagram! What do you mean it's a flower pentagram? It's just kind of a vaguely floral, but also like, doily design? That's a stretch even by conspiracy standards. Spurious symbology is evidence on the bingo card.
the pentagram is facing down. 3 pentagrams facing down is no accident if you ask me. But forgetting that,
Doesn't know what a coincidence is on the bingo card.
the movie continues and we find out that another government agent named Donegan has gone missing.
No, I'm not. Why would I spoil Spy Kids 2? I'm not gonna spoil Spy Kids or Spy Kids 2, other than what he already says.
So they're taking the kids to school, and this is when the movie begins to get creepy. Junie's watching this show in the car called Floops Fooglies.
Alan Cumming is one of the greatest actors of all time, by the way. That is my personal belief, just because he's awesome and I love him.
And it has major MK Ultra vibes, or it's basically brain rot
MK Ultra on the bingo card. Anything weird is MK Ultra.
children content with psychedelic trance-like visuals and these bizarre, distorted, messed up characters that
Apparently this guy has never seen a lot of 70s kids cartoon or kids TV shows. Something like the Banana Splits even. Kind of the vibe this is going for is kind of a Captain Kangaroo or Banana Splits. Something with weird live action stuff. Puffin stuff.
that would give most children nightmares. The dad's like, Junie, why do you watch that crap? And he's like, oh, because it's cool. His dad's like, that's all you do, what's wrong with you? And the kid does seem slightly autistic from it. And
What? Boss Sloth, yes, it's media is evil on the bingo card. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he said that's strike one. That's strike one.
starts mocking his sister. The dad is really concerned about this stuff and calls the creatures hideous when looking at one of Junie's drawings of the creatures. Well, we get some foreshadowing as the dad is watching the show. There's a new character introduced named Dynamite, and the dad is starting to get a little suspicious of this whole thing. So much so that he almost runs over this old lady. This scene is kind of weird too. As he drops off the kids, there's another bully dad that he fantasizes throwing through a window or something. The next scene we're shown Floop's hideout, which is a castle.
That was a superfluous why is he going over points of the plot that have nothing to do with what he's talking about? That was completely, like, yeah, that happened in the movie, but you didn't talk about it, so why are you bringing it up?
Top of a rock formation shaped like a boot. Basically a hideout on a secret island.
Yeah, we can see it. Jesus.
We zoom inside, and
Is Spy Kids tokusatsu?
there's a demonstration being held by a Mr. Lisp, which seems to be a businessman discussing how they pay outrageous amounts of money to inventors to come up with their technologies. So someone is funding this whole operation, and Mr. Floop is one of these investments. Mr. Lisp and his business associates are questioning Mr. Floop's weird inventions and says they wanted an army, but instead their first $1 billion got them these weird creatures which he calls mutated secret agents. It's revealed that Mr. Floop had these agents mutated and brainwiped so that their minds turned to mush, which is literally what MK Ultra set out to do so that they could be programmed for an entirely new function. Interestingly, while this is all happening, the
Brainwashing as a trope has existed even before the MK Ultra stuff. Like the real MK Ultra stuff, not the stuff that the conspiracy theorists make it out to be.
window is made of puzzle pieces
A Tim Curry cleanse. Save that.
and there are a few colored pieces that you can't see through. Are these referencing missing pieces to the puzzle? Floop says he has little
I mean, they're puzzle windows, yes? It's a puzzle motif. He has puzzle motifs throughout the castle. It's like a part of his, like, theming. Yes, I guess. Yeah?
use for these mutated agents other than using them as novelties on his children's show. Currently rated number 2 in the world or the United States? Not really clear. But wait, so he's saying that he literally mutated humans, wiped their memory, and then used them as means for entertainment for children around the world? I mean, what? Then Mr. Lisp even says, what the devil? So even the movie makes reference to this whole thing being demonic.
Satanism on the bingo card. But what the devil is just like an idiot. That's just a saying. That's just what the thing people say. It has nothing to do with actual demons.
But he's curious what the fingermen are for.
They're called thumbs.
Well, the thumbs are apparently his robotic slaves that do his bidding. Now this is where the main premise emerges. Mr. Floop tells him, don't worry, let me show you an amazing
Alan Cumming would have made a pretty good doctor. I'm gonna put that out there.
power. And everyone's scared to see what it is. Well, it's just a child. But not just any child. This is Mr. Lisp's child, Johnny. And Johnny's running full pace towards him. But instead of hugging his dad, he has super strength and throws his dad on the floor. This child is a clone of his child that was turned into an indistinguishable
He's not a clone, he's a robot. The Spy Kid robots are robots. They're like androids. They're replicants. They're not flesh and blood. They're completely robots. They just have kind of a fleshy endoskeleton like a Terminator.
clone robot. So realistic that his father couldn't tell the difference. And Mr. Floop tells him that he designed him, he built him, and that his name is this random number code. But the thing is, how do you just design a realistic robot kid?
We're going into the logic of the plan and Spy Kids. It's a kids movie. What do you mean? What do you mean, how do you build a robot? It's fiction. It doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. It's fiction. He did it because it's what the story demands. It's fine.
Well, we find out what's required in a moment. He even has the president's daughter cloned, and Mr. Lisp starts to see how this could be potentially useful. Here is where we learn the secret of the film. Carmen and Junie are not the Spy Kids. Floop explains that he
I mean, it's a double meaning. The robot kids are called Spy Kids, but also Junie and Carmen are also Spy Kids. The title can have more than one meaning. And certainly, throughout the sequels, Carmen and Junie are the Spy Kids. Because these Spy Kids aren't in the sequels. Except maybe as a cameo in one. I don't remember if they did a cameo thing with them. Yeah, in 2 there was a cameo of the robot Carmen and Junie.
can create the likeness of anyone through physio-electrical imaging, but with the cunning and intelligence of the world's greatest spy agents, all rolled into tiny packages that he calls Spy Kids. This is what the movie is really about.
I mean, that's the villain's plan. Penekagami says, no, he didn't wipe their memories. They're made docile by the transformation so they can't oppress him, but they're aware of what's happened. That's the point behind the song. It's a cry for help backwards. He does go into that.
Starts to get really mad and says that he has 2 days to
Everyone has a cameo in 3. Did somebody ring the dinkster? Hydrate. Can do.
make his army, or that they will cut their losses and Mr. Floop's empire will fall apart. Well, now the mother and father are about to
True Italian Shakespeare, yeah. Later, why am I blanking on his name? Robert Rodriguez spun off the Machete character from this movie into Machete, a very adult, violent film. Mellow Delver, thanks for following.
go on another mission to find these missing spy agents. He decided to take this assignment because a guy named Devlin called and asked him, which seems like a weird detail to add, and they don't really clarify whether
It's a setup for a joke at the end of the film, the joke being that Devlin is, George Clooney.
this guy's important or why him calling is important. Seems awfully close to devil, but they decide to
Come on, that's not even... Really? This guy's name was Devlin. Devil? Sure, why not?
go to look for these
Close enough.
missing agents and just leave their kids with Felix.
Incorrect word etymology is evidence on the bingo card.
Who ends up being a traitor in the future, actually. Their car is a secret submarine, and they're trying to find their location when the TV in their car gets hijacked by Floop's television show. And it's Floop actually saying to the Cortez that they have something that he wants. They try to run away, but then they get kidnapped by this massive underwater submarine. The next scene, Junie is eating breakfast, and they have a cereal too. I mean, who knows what they're putting in this stuff? And Junie's drawing what Carmen would look like as a Foogly. An alarm goes off, and keep in mind that the kids have no idea that their parents are really spies. So Felix tries to explain it to them in less than a minute, and they just kind of accept it. Apparently the Thumb-Thumbs are breaking into the house to try to steal the children, but Felix fights them off as the children escape through a hidden exit.
Large underground tunnel system.
They're now in a futuristic boat, being chased by Thumb-Thumbs, and eventually get away by going underwater. This submarine has an AI that autopilots them and is taking them to a safe house somewhere. The next scene, the parents are in an elevator getting everything that they have on them confiscated. When they are led down this hallway and we see those bizarre Fooglies again, which remember are mutated agents and they're being kept in cages. I didn't mention, but they also have these high-pitched voices which make it even more creepy. And the mother even says that they're prisoners. Well, in this hall,
I'm sure Nemesaur.
there's a stone.
Are people not feeling this? Because people are saying boring. He does have weird conspiracies throughout this, but I get he is just describing the movie a lot of it. Do we need to do a poll to see if people aren't interested in this?
Eye, which is monitoring this
Because I have other videos.
situation. And we get a shot of Floop's monitor room, and one of the screens literally has a pyramid with an eye in it. Like I said,
I'll do a poll. Okay, vote in the poll.
I won't try to overanalyze that kind of stuff, but I mean, come on.
Okay, continues winning.
Loops is saying that they're running out of time, and the mad scientist says, don't worry, these spies have two weaknesses. They're children, insinuating that that's what they're really after. So the kids arrived at the safe house, and it has advanced tech. This shot stuck in my memory for some reason, as there's a microwave that can turn packets into ready-made food. They also have emergency cash in multiple different currencies, which is a strange detail to add for a children's film.
Not a strange detail. It's all the things in that. It's interesting, the lack of media literacy, and I know we've brought this up and it's almost a trope at this point, but I gotta point out the lack of media literacy. In that scene where they're in the spy hideout, it's a bunch of, like, kids' fantasy things. Oh, look, it's packets full of McDonald's food I can just zap and it's hot and ready whenever you want. It's, oh, look, it's a bunch of different spy gadgets that have little fun things. Oh, look, it's a bunch of cash, right? Like, even if you're a kid, you understand that money is worth things and lets you do things. So it's like an entering the spy world joke. It's the kids being introduced to all these cool gadgets and spy things. Don't understand how he doesn't get it. You want me to do the cat for the hats off? Can do. Let me get my ears real quick. Hi,
The
Drake.
parents are tied up underground, but they quickly make their escape. They make their way to a virtual room, which displays a realistic virtual simulation of reality without headsets. So they get put into a fake reality. But they quickly fall through a hole and onto Floop's dinner table where he's been waiting for them. Floop mentions that their children will be joining them soon, and then tells them about what's been happening to the other secret agents. He says that 12 years ago, they were a part of a research team for the OSS attempting to create a synthetic intelligence, a compendium of spy knowledge. Floop says that the OSS destroyed this research, implying they wanted to bury this. Ingrid, the mother, says that if they did that, then it must have been for a good reason. Where Floop agrees, yes, we all have our reasons. We find out that there was someone else on that research team. Well, it was Mr. Cortez, the father. And apparently he knows how to build this AI. And, as a way to bribe him, Floop shows him that they have captured Felix. And in this weird manner, he sculpts a strange alien creature. And then on the screen, we see Felix.
I don't know why he's calling it an alien. It's not an alien. It's just like a weird thing he's turning him into, like the other spies.
With an electro pulse brain cap, literally something from MK Ultra, and he's then turned or mutated into this creature. All Floop can think about is how this will be a great addition to his children's show, and everyone's going to love him just in time for the holiday rush. I mean, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah, he's the villain. He's the villain. He's the villain of the piece. It is messed up. You are correct. His priorities are not in order. It's almost like that is a character flaw that you were supposed to see in an antagonist and recognize as that.
But just to make this clear, it was the OSS, or a secret government program, that initially started this research.
The OSS never became the CIA. I always took it, it's never really said, but in the Spy Kids universe, I always took it that the CIA was created as a cover for the real secret agency that was the OSS that continued to exist undercover. That was always my, just world building as a kid, though I don't think they ever say that.
Into creating an artificial intelligent spy, meaning they were trying to do the same thing Floop is attempting
We
to
just did a poll, Spokane Dog Man. The continues have it.
achieve. So now the children, Junie and Carmen, are getting dressed up in their spy gear, when some other government agents show up at the safe house to tell the children to listen to their father's last message, which involves the name Floop. Junie refuses to believe that Floop has anything to do with this, but the agent explains to him that the Fooglies are actually government agents who have been mutated and transformed into monsters. And this is even more creepy. She explains that the cute song that the characters sing is actually a secret backwards.
I can speed him up, though, yeah. That's reasonable, I think. Amber Pretzel says, fun fact, the Spy Kids movies and Shark Boy and Lava Girl were made for this director's kid, which is why they're so campy and goofy. Oh yeah, I knew that. Robert Rodriguez has been pretty open about that.
Recording with an
Was YouTube included in the poll? No.
encoded message
YouTube are second-class citizens, unfortunately.
saying that we're trapped.
Again, I don't make the rules, I adjudicate them.
Floop is a madman. Help us, save us. They're literally telling you about real-world subliminal messaging.
They're literally not. It's literally a joke about backmasking.
So the show contains secret messages explaining that these creatures were all prisoners of the show, and all the children of the world just ate it up. The lady then tells them that Floop is going to do this to their parents, unless their father decides to help him develop his request. The agent is asking them, do you guys remember anything? Then Carmen says, the third brain lives. The spy lady gets all excited and says, you're now a spy, Carmen. But where does this third brain live? This is when Junie accidentally flips up a portrait of the parent.
Jaden with a 3-stream streak says maybe those on YouTube should donate more if they want to have a say on what's played.
And the
That's incredibly cynical.
It's a secret compartment where there's a tiny brain in this contraption. So hold up, is this a real brain?
No, it's a robot brain! I know they go into this slightly more in the sequels, but in the first one it is made very clear that this is not a real brain. It looks like a brain, but it's not. It's a computer chip that looks like a brain. They show in the movie, they show Antonio Banderas with like a soldering iron doing electronics things to the brain. It's like he didn't pay attention to the movie.
Or is this some type of brain from a homunculus?
Like all elections, money wins, unfortunately. Greyline says YouTube subscribers get to come to special live streams. They should stop complaining. Only if they're members.
The agents start
We're not. I've made a grave mistake. I've introduced animosity and sectarianism between the stream's chats. And that's on me. And I won't allow that.
to have a sinister fake vibe, and the agent says search the house. But we find out that these agents are actually working with Floop because the Thumb Thumbs are here. So the lady from the OSS is working with Floop? That means that the OSS is involved in this operation to some degree. So the agent takes this tiny brain, which is kind of a robotic tiny brain computer chip thing, maybe merged with a real brain.
There's no real brain. At no point do they say it's a real brain. Where is he getting this? I've seen this movie 50,000 times, and the sequels. There's no real brain.
Kids finally realize that these agents are actually the bad guys. He tells one of the agents to fly the brain to Floop immediately, and then somehow the kids escape in the most unrealistic way imaginable, and the lady almost
The children's film.
gets burned alive. But this is crazy, which ties in with the last video on the channel if you haven't seen it. Remember, the safe house is on a secret island, so when Carmen grabs the jetpack, she escapes through an exit that leads to an underground tunnel. And at first it seems like a quick escape, but no, this is literally an underground tunnel highway that goes for miles with several intersections and roads. These are the secret underground government tunnels that connect different domes around the states, and they actually show that in the movie, which is pretty insane.
They don't. That's not what it's
Just
showing.
weird that they would show that with all this other subject matter being discussed. Well, Carmen gets the brain back while almost crashing into tall buildings, and they go through this advertisement sign that shows how popular Floop's Fooglies are. And so this is not just local to the United States. They're in some Hispanic country, possibly Mexico.
See, this is what gets me. The movie starts out in... It's not, like, stated directly, but it seems like they are in Mexico at the start. I think he's assuming, because the movie is in English, they must have started in America. But I always got the vibe that at the beginning of Spy Kids, they live in, like, Mexico somewhere. That was the vibe I got. But then again, I've seen the movie and was paying attention. Unstable Deadbeat says, no, it's good, Hannah. You can play us off against each other to see who donates more to earn your favor. Oh, that makes me uncomfortable to read even as a joke. Tea with Goblin says, my gender is whatever the fuck Alan Cumming had going on in Cabaret. Yeah. When he does two ladies, oh my god, what a song. The song in Cabaret he does where it's two ladies and it's about him being in a three-way, and it's just incredible.
Okay, so if you think I've been reaching this whole time, I'd really like to hear you explain this one. After the kids escape from the Thum Thums, the next scene is Floop's show, and he's singing a new song, and it's very trippy, but the scary thing about it is the lyrics literally say,
Yeah, you're right. Spain would make more sense. Antonio Banderas is from Spain, so that would track. Peoplord says, "Hey Twitch chat, I just discovered oil in YouTube chat. You wouldn't believe the human rights violations their despot leader is doing." Wait, I'm the despot leader.
Cruel world.
Let's cool this down.
All you little boys and girls and some mean, nasty people want to have you for their supper. What? And as soon as he says this, there's blatant Saturn symbolism, which I'm not going to completely break down, but if you know, you know. And we also have the eyes everywhere. This is no joke, it's right in our faces.
I thought he was from Spain. Why did I think he was from Spain?
He continues saying, but if you follow me, you can all be free. Free. You can all be free as a bird on a big TV. If you dream. Meaning it's all an illusion. You'll be a trapped slave just like his Fooglies. He continues singing about how the world is nasty, filled with nasty people. While it is revealed he is standing on some type of circus setting, which is interesting considering the clown-like nature or demonic beings dancing in a DMT-like realm. And then as he is
That's a lot. That's a lot. That's so much in one sentence.
Singing, it's like Floops realizes how messed up this all is, and we find out that they are in the virtual reality room. So this was a fake
He is from Spain. Nailed it.
reality. Then we see the creatures are hanging from strings, but they aren't enjoying it, so it does seem to be a hanged man reference. And then he says to lock them up. So yeah, this is some messed up symbolism. Right as it zooms out from the set, we're in the monitor room, and again we see the Eye of Providence, which confirms a lot of our suspicions. Floop comes in freaking out about what his show is missing. It's missing something that will make his show go #1. The scientist is trying to tell Floop that he's too worried about the TV show when his main focus should be creating this army of robot children. Remember, the real Spy Kids. They know that Carmen and Junie have escaped, but Floop is surprised to find out that the third brain actually does exist. The scientist suggests that they send 2 robots after them, which we find out are actually their clones. The next shot is of a city called San Diablo, some more devil symbolism. At this point you have to agree
That
it's
just
not
feels like a thing that Robert Rodriguez would make up.
just coincidence. I mean, that's not even a real city, so obviously it was chosen on purpose. We see a bunch of children playing in a park. Carmen is trying to find the coordinates when the movie makes a reference to one of Robert Rodriguez's other films named Machete with Danny Trejo, which is not a kid's movie at all, it's about a paid assassin. But apparently, he's making an appearance in this movie too. Not sure why they would make that reference in a kid's movie, but okay.
The kids' movie was first. Machete wasn't in a violent movie before this. That happened later. He can't even be bothered to look up the dates different movies came out.
Junie's trying to
The Machete movie and Machete Kills came after this, years and years after.
destroy the brain, which is the right thing to do, but Carmen won't let him because she wants to get their parents back. Carmen goes to get some water when both clones show up to steal the brain. The clones take it and then fly away back to Floop's castle. But one of the dog tags from Carmen's clone was taken by Junie, and the real Carmen is reading it, and again we find out that those were the real Spy Kids. And apparently there are 500 Spy Kid clones. Remember, the movie's playing this like they're just robots, but they are lifelike clones, so realistic that even Carmen didn't realize that it wasn't her brother.
Yeah, but they are robots. In the logic of the movie, they're robots, so they're robots because it's fiction, and what the fiction tells you is inherently real by the nature of fiction unless it's an unreliable narrator. And we're not given any reason to think it's an unreliable narrator thing.
The next shot, Cortez is explaining to the mother what this secret program was all about. He says they had it working, a synthetic intelligence as smart as any spy, and we get a flashback of Gregorio working in this secret lab. And there are more than 3 brains apparently. There's even a 5th brain.
We actually
The director
see
didn't
a
realize-
different version of the 5th brain in Spy Kids 3 when the dad is working on it before he shows up for the big ending fight against Sylvester Stallone's giant kaiju mecha. Weird series. So that's the 5th brain is in the first one, but it's also in the last one, and it's very different. So
That this technology was far too powerful, and that if the wrong forces found this technology, it would be a terrible situation. So they were ordered to destroy everything. But interestingly, Cortez for some reason decided not to destroy the brain. So this is basically all his fault. The kids then go to Machete's spy shop where Danny comes into the movie, which is actually their uncle. The next shot, Floop is in distress and we see a line of children who are clones of very important politicians'
Oh, he's just going scene for scene. This is lazy shit.
children, like the president, prime minister, etc. This is where things don't really make that much sense. All of a sudden, Floop doesn't want to be a part of this whole creating an army of children thing anymore, and really only cares about his show. But the movie tries to portray this as if he has a change of heart or something, like he's a good guy, which is dumb. I mean, you literally have a messed up show with slave mutants brainwashing children with subliminal messaging, but okay, he doesn't want to create the arm anymore, I guess. He says his show isn't working because all these ideas belong to the mad scientist, not him. But I guess he still wants to work on the show? It doesn't make that much sense, but now the mad
It makes sense within the logic of the movie.
scientist
Floop was never all that interested in the evil stuff. He wanted to do the show because he's lonely and he wants to do a good show that kids like. And then Minion, which is the guy, this guy plays Monk also. He convinced him to do the evil stuff. Bungie Lord says, I don't think I've ever seen a conspiracy theorist who knows what a clone was. It's such a specific thing to consistently misunderstand. It is weird, isn't it?
Minion gets the brain from clone Carmen and Junie, and
Tony Shalhoub, thank you, that's his name.
decides he doesn't need Floop anymore, so
Many time Emmy award-winning actor Tony Shalhoub.
he locks him up. The kids are still in Machete's spy shop, and this is the guy making all the inventions for agents. But he sells them to both sides, not just the good guys, and he has a photo with Floop, strangely so. He's involved with this whole thing. Well, Machete doesn't want to help save his brother, and
Not
even
directly involved, I presume he's worked with him at some point because they're both into weird techno bullshit. Again, how hard is this to understand the basic ideas being presented to you visually in a movie?
Cain and Abel reference, so is he Cain?
He says, I'm not my brother's keeper. It's just an allusion to the Cain and Abel story. It doesn't have to be that specific.
They stack up on spy gear and make their way to Floop's castle and Machete's flying machine. Back at the castle, the scientist Minion is creating a replica of the third brain. We see a conveyor belt of these brains being created en masse. And after Carmen and Junie sneak into the castle, we get another shot of the brains being placed into the clones' heads. And we see a shot with a long line of clone children on a conveyor belt. I mean, this is really creepy. Carmen and Junie sneak in through some underground tunnels after getting past a thum-thum. They make it into one of the main halls, and after placing some small cameras, the Fooglies come in chained together. And Junie uses one of his spy gear to scan the Foogly to see that it's actually a secret agent. Then the next shot is these clone children being directed down this really creepy hallway with strange art, and they are marching in single file. I barely noticed this, but as Carmen and Junie are witnessing this, there's a sculpture of a hand with an eye. And this is not just overlooking it, this is a legit secret society symbol for both the Freemasons and Oddfellows, and they just so happen to put this sculpture in this shot while these children are marching? Super sus. So Carmen and Junie pretend to be clone children to get to another part of the castle. But the clones turn around and stare at them with this really creepy look, as they know they aren't the same.
I think it's a thesaurus. Everything's creepy, 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 creepy.
They start
I wonder why the villain's hideout is so creepy.
screaming
It's
a
almost like you're not supposed to, it's supposed to have an unnerving, strange vibe, because that's his whole theming.
and Carmen and Junie did. Well, Carmen falls down to the floor and Junie makes his way to the virtual room. He gets put into this false reality, and Floop starts talking to him as if he was a god. I didn't mention earlier, but there is this detail at the beginning of the film that Junie gets warts. And at first it seems just like a silly, nasty children joke or something.
It's to set up that he's nervous!
But here in the virtual room, Floop is saying that he gets warts because he sweats all the time that he's scared. Which seems really weird to bring up.
It's part of his character arc! Like, he doesn't understand. It's his character arc. It's a physical manifestation of a character flaw that is overcome through his hero's journey. Oh my god. Fuck me. Just watch a movie and understand it. Oh my god. It's a movie for children. I understood this when I was 7. Oh, fuck.
Floop is now trying to play it off as he's the good guy, and that he didn't want anything bad to happen, which is Cap for sure. Well, the next shot, the Cortez's parents are tied up in a lab about to be experimented on, and we find out that Minion, the scientist at Floop's castle, was actually a part of the OSS working on the secret brain project. So there you go, this whole operation was done by someone who worked for the government. Apparently he was kicked out, but still, there's no denying the link. But now he's trying to get revenge by turning them into Fooglies. So yeah, he mutates them. Back with Carmen, she falls into a thumb room. We get to see how these thumbs are made, which is cool, but it doesn't make too much sense. Like, if you're going to invest in making robots, why do you need to make them thumbs?
Because it's a weird visual. It's a surreal visual for a children's movie. It doesn't matter if it makes actual sense. It's a movie. It just has to make narrative sense.
It's for the show, okay, sure, it's weird. It gets people's attention. But Floop said he didn't want any part of this, yet he greenlit this operation to create all these robots. Now Mr. Lisp is on his way to see this army, and the agent from earlier who burned herself is now here, and this is basically the entire OSS crew, who started their own evil operation. So this is basically the OSS's fault, as they started this project in the first place.
Yeah, yes, that is part of it, correct? It's always interesting when they point out part of the plot and act as though they found a secret message. Like, no, that was on the surface storytelling you were supposed to see, correct?
Floop is trying to convince Junie that he's the good guy, and Minion is the evil one, while he's kind of praised in the clouds like
they are defectors, but it is a theme of the series that stuff from the past of the OSS comes back to bite them. The defectors in the first movie, the villain in the second movie, which I don't want to get too much into because I don't want to spoil Spy Kids 2. In the third one, Sylvester Stallone's character was a former OSS agent that worked with the grandpa.
like a god. Okay, but now Floop is a good guy, and he wants to put a stop to all of this, and he just hopes that the world can forgive him. But after Junie says, okay, I'm gonna help you, Floop, he's like, but hold up, what do you think my show needs? So he's still obsessed with having a show for children. They leave
Spy Kids 2 is like a 20-year-old movie, but it slaps. So I want people to go enjoy it.
the virtual room, and Floop is determined to help now. They make their way to the dungeon, but Junie meets his Foogly that he drew, which is his dad who was mutated into one of these monsters. They free the mom, and Floop says that he might be able to change his dad back because now he's a good guy, and had nothing to do with turning the Fooglies earlier, which is BS because he sculpted them. They were his creations. Mr. Lisp shows up ready to see what they've been working on, but before Minion
Can we do a Spy Kids watch party? That would be fun.
can do that, Floop announces that there are issues with the robots. So Minion leaves to go see what's going on. Well, Minion finds out that the Cortez family's all there. So what do? Do they handcuff him and arrest him until the authorities arrive? Nope. They put on the brain cap, and then the father sculpts some hideous creature with multiple faces, and then they mutate him. I mean, I get that he deserves it, but it's just like, what the heck? This seems evil. They then leave the lab, and Floop is saying that we have to hurry up and get to the control room before the army leaves. That they have to hope that the clones haven't been programmed with their missions. So the clone children are literal sleeping agents that were
Did
programmed
Twitch kill watch parties? That sucks. Those are fun.
to do something horrible, is all we can assume. But obviously something with world domination. But still, it's like an army of brainwashed children assassins. They make it to the control room, and Floop calls the clones doppelgangers. And now, Floop has to reprogram all the clone children to be good instead of bad. Minion heads back to meet up with Mr. Lisp after being mutated, and he seems perfectly fine with the situation. Now the kids have to face their clones. This is when she mentions the shiitake mushrooms, but as she says this, there
Oh, clones on the bingo card. They're not actually clones, but he calls them clones, so that counts.
is this very strange painting that's hardly visible, but it is super creepy. The parents then show up at the meeting room, and Mr. Cortez knows Mr. Lisp somehow. And again, Mr. Lisp then says that he would love to see a demonstration of those lovely demonic children of yours. All the robots come marching in, and the family's gonna have to fight when Danny decides to come crashing into the window. Then Lisp gives the clones the order to tear the family limb from limb. But then Floop saves the day by reprogramming them to have some fun. So yay, happy ending.
Yeah, the shiitake mushrooms is because the sister says, like, oh, shiitake mushrooms, and so they can get away with having a kid say shit in a movie. They can still keep, like, a PG rating.
And Floop is telling Junie it's all because of him. Now all of Junie's words are gone, and during this shot, the TV's playing the news, and it's saying that in multiple countries,
No, Unstable Deadbeat, it has to be a conspiracy thing.
there are groups of children performing outstanding acts of charity. Which is weird, so the clones are like superheroes now?
Yeah, that is a weird plot point, but again, it's a kids movie and they didn't know they were gonna do sequels, so it's fine. They needed to do something with the robot kids. I'm fine with that.
And what happens to Floop?
He keeps doing the kids show, and he appears in the second one in a cameo, and the third one as a brief cameo.
he still has his show, Floop Spooglies, but Minion is his Spoogly now.
Is Floop royalty? No, why is it asking is Floop royalty?
And there are also 2 new characters. Carmen and Junie's clones become characters on the show.
That's gotta be confusing, so kids at school are just like, how are you at school every day and also filming the Floop show?
I'm not sure if that's good or bad, as their eyes start glowing, which is extremely creepy for a child show. So then the movie ends with the OSS director, Devlin, getting Carmen and Junie to accept a mission. So wait, the government is actually going to use these kids on a mission?
Oh wow, imagine if there were spy kids! What a crazy idea, someone should make a movie out of that.
Alright, that's the movie. And now we know the real meaning. Carmen and Junie are not spy kids. They are the children of secret agents who are being exploited by the government to complete missions.
Or spy kids, whatever, it's a fun kids movie. They're not really in danger, it's fiction. They're spy kids, it's fine.
The real Spy Kids is only revealed in the first movie. The artificial clone children beings who are being trafficked are the real Spy Kids.
It's both. Carmen and Junie are spy kids, and so are the robots.
They have been mentally programmed first for evil, and then good by an evil scientist and artist who create mutated creatures for their bizarre children's show for mind-controlling children around the world. This entire operation was funded by a large billion-dollar corporation that is looking
I don't want gritty remakes. I want campy remakes. I want gritty movies remade into campy movies.
to create an army of
The gritty fans have had it too good for too long, okay? You always get what you want. When will it be our turn?
clones for their own evil intentions. And this all started from a secret government program that was looking into creating an artificial intelligence that was capable of being a compendium of spy knowledge. The movie is filled with symbolism and secret references that really makes us question if the writer knows something that the general population is not privy to. Now, I do find it weird that Robert Rodriguez is also responsible for a bunch of other films with adult content.
Can you imagine? Wow, a director and writer capable of making different genres of movies. Can you imagine? Did you know that Steven Spielberg did a movie about the Holocaust and also did Hook? Like, yeah, yep. What?
I'm not saying that he shouldn't be able to make kids films, but I'm just saying that he was making some extremely graphic films, and to go from that into Spy Kids, it's just something to know. I'm not going to break down the second and third movie, but the second one is basically Dr. Moreau. The government knows about this secret lab where they're creating hybrid animals. And the third movie is about a virtual game that keeps children trapped inside by an evil programmer. They aren't as good as the first one, but still, some interesting subjects are covered. Just nothing as blatant as the first one. There's also the Netflix show, which is really bad, but it covers a lot of these topics, some even more blatantly than the movies. But yeah,
Didn't even know there was a Netflix show.
none of it's like the first movie, so I'll just keep it at that. I just wanted to talk.
Yeah, see, they did make a fifth Spy Kids. They made the 3 original ones, then they did a remake. Then they did like Spy Kids 4, and then this is a remake. Terrible.
About the movie, as there are some reviews of it, but I haven't seen a video breaking down how weird it really is and all the occult symbolism in the movie. Let us know if we missed anything, or if there's another movie breakdown that you want to see. Thanks for watching, tell a friend about us, and all we can hope is that our minds may be unveiled.
Let go of everything you think to be true.
Terrible. Trey says, you need to know that Tinfoil made a song with Alex Jones. Why? Why?
Follow until it's our turn to die. We're slowly marching to our suicide instead of living. Tell me what to do instead of dreaming. Let me die for you. If I could see the darkness in our minds and their tainted eyes, I'd make it right.
Is this with AI? This is with AI, though, so it's not actually Alex Jones, right? H-Bird says, if it weren't for Spy Kids, we'd never see Ricardo Montalban taking a Rod Rodriguez kids movie way too seriously. True.
We're marching to the beat of genocide. We're killing at the whims and tides of a nation, fractured at the seams, breaking apart for the world to see. Break free from controlled reality and fight your way from this, to get away from it. I'm losing my mind, have I lost my sight? If this quicksand has gone over my eyes, how can I see anything? With shadows in the current.
Christian Jones with a $2 super chat says, dude, brain would explode if he saw Blade Runner.
Enterprise of institutions made to control your life.
This is like really bad.
Control reality from this, to get away.
Yeah, the Alex Jones part is AI. That is fucking... Okay, moving on. Fenekigami says, Robert Rodriguez also did the live-action Alita adaptation, which is one of the few good live-action anime adaptations. Now that's a movie with adult themes. I've heard it's good. Let's take a look at the bingo card real quick, because I know we have stuff we gotta mark off. If it wants to work. There we go. We have uses AI. Well, we certainly did on the Tim Pool video. Flat Earth, spurious symbology. Vibes-based conspiracy, clones. Hannah mentions Blu-rays. Incorrect word origin is evidence. Satanic. MK Ultra. Illuminati, Freemasons, Cabal. Doesn't know what a coincidence is. Popular media is evil. Think that's it. I don't think he said PSYOP. When did we have predictive programming? Definitely had clones. I marked down clones. I put 9 on 10. Whoopsie. Sorry. Every villain is lemon. Oh.
If you've ever seen The Truman Show, you can see how it's a lot like waking up. Waking up to this fake reality that we find ourselves living in. News stories are completely fabricated and are crafted to instill fear into the population and divide the people along with religion and politics.
I'd say that's predictive programming.
The education system is a brainwashing machine in place to teach slaves how to function with a shitty job in a society that's crumbling by design. The allopathic medical system harms people instead of healing them or teaching them how to heal.
Oh, fuck off.
The food isn't real. The drinks aren't real. The movie,
You know you can get water, right?
music, fashion, and
Or tea.
adult film industries are all highly responsible for fueling this toxic environment that's constantly degrading around us. When one begins to see all this and awaken from a lifetime of deception, it's very much reminiscent of the character Truman of The Truman Show.
Yeah, it doesn't understand the problem is capitalism on the bingo card. Watch out, my drink isn't real. That's true. I'm actually 43% aspartame by mass now.
Before The Matrix,
Feels pretty good. My whole body feels like that sensation when your foot falls asleep.
there was The Truman Show. A 1998 film starring Jim Carrey, or JC, as Truman Burbank, the unwitting superstar of the world's most popular television program that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's called Hangin' with Mr. Burbank. Okay, yeah, you got me. It's called The Truman Show.
Is that a joke?
For nearly 30 years, Truman is completely unaware of the fact that his life is being broadcast live every minute of every day, with roughly 5,000 hidden cameras within the set. The set is a giant domed structure in Burbank, California, which is where Truman gets his last name. Inside the dome, there is an
I'm an idiot. I never realized that. Of course, Truman Burbank. Yep, that'll do it.
entire mock-up island town called Sea Haven. Truman was adopted by a corporation as a baby in order to televise his life and make the show possible. To help keep Truman from learning the truth, they kill off the character that plays his father in a boating accident while Truman is just a young boy. This makes him terrified of the water. Besides that, other fear-based propaganda is posted throughout the set, like this poster at the fake airline that says, "It could happen to you,"
The fake travel agent.
and displays an airplane being struck by lightning. And another that reads, "Travelers beware. Have you bought enough travel insurance to protect against terrorists, disease, wild animals, street gangs?" In fact, all the press within the domed set works to keep Truman complacent. There is a scene where Truman is making a phone call to try and track down a woman that he believes moved to Fiji. Right when he does this, a coworker pops up and reveals a fresh newspaper where the headline reads, "The best place on earth, Sea Haven, voted planet's top town," just before flashing a Masonic hand gesture.
It's just an okay symbol. It's not Masonic. It's not Masonic. Freemasons, if we didn't already have it on the bingo card, and spurious symbology, I think we had those both already, but just in case.
Signs and symbols rule the world, not words nor laws.
You know, I don't think you understand this very well if you think that's what Confucius was talking about, if that's even an actual quote from Confucius.
A quote often attributed to Confucius, but whether he said it or not, it's absolutely true. Anyway, another example of keeping Truman under mind control is when Truman is a boy in school. He expresses that he wants to be an explorer, but his teacher completely shuts him down.
I'd like to be an explorer, like the Great Magellan.
Oh, you're too late. There's really nothing left to explore.
And when Truman expresses to
This is an entirely different channel, by the way. I guess conspiracy theorists just want to recap movies now.
Fake wife that he wants to see the world,
At least this one is being more sporadic. It's not just doing the whole movie.
she explains how it's not a good
Unless it is. Jesus Christ.
idea because they are tied down by finances.
We have mortgage payments, Truman. We have car payments. What, we're just gonna walk away from our financial obligations? It would be an adventure. I thought we were gonna try for a baby.
So most of us have seen this movie.
The movie recap channels piss me off as someone who likes movies, because it's like, watch the movie. Sit down and watch the movie. I kind of understand when people do, like, I also don't think this is great, but if you were to, like, look up a Spark Notes or something of a book, I guess you would at least get the bullet points, but it's not the same as reading the book. But books can take you maybe days to read, depending on how much free time you have. A movie takes like 2 hours. A movie takes like 2 hours. You don't have time. What are we doing? It's like an hour and a half for a lot of movies. I don't know. Why are you watching recaps? If you don't have time for a movie, put on a podcast.
It's really good, and many people chop it up to being ahead of its time, basically because it foreshadowed reality TV and shows the ridiculous length some will go to exploit other humans for entertainment. Yeah, that's kind of a part of it, but pretty much everyone missed the bigger picture. This film is about you. It's about your life. You are Truman, the true man, or true woman, or simply change Truman Show to The Human Show. You have been closely monitored since the day you were born, and by now you have also been conditioned to be okay with that fact. You go through their schooling and you're taught only what they want you to know. With this amazing knowledge, you become a paycheck-earning member of the workforce and begin making make-believe money so you can feed it back into the system,
Again with the make-believe money thing. With money, I can buy goods and services. It is money.
creating a perpetual cycle where you are always enslaved by the debts you owe. It's a trap, and you can't get out of it. Meanwhile, you're being kept in the dark about where you live. Just like Truman, or the true man, lives underneath a dome, you too live underneath a dome, a much larger one compared to the movie. The dome you dwell in
No,
is a
it's
natural
not
part of
accidentally
your
based. It doesn't understand problem is capitalism on the bingo card.
cosmology. Since as far back as we know, all the cultures of the world have embraced living within this dome. There are most likely several cultures that have been genocided and buried in time that we are unaware of that believed the same thing. Or knew, rather. These are just the ones we know about. The Sumerians' mythology says that a primeval sea existed before anything else and that the heaven and the earth were formed within it. The boundary between the primeval sea and the earth, a flat disk, was a solid vault, within which was a gas-like atmosphere. The stars, planets, sun, and moon were embedded in this solid vault. The Greek philosopher Anaximenes described the heavens as like a felt cap that turned on its head, with the stars fixed to the surface like nails.
Why does it matter? Like, that's interesting from a historical perspective, but no offense, that guy didn't know what he was talking about. He can speak about it poetically, he can speak about it metaphorically, he can speak about it from what he can see from his senses, but it's not an accurate account of the cosmology of the universe as we understand it with our current knowledge.
Flavius Josephus wrote about the earth being surrounded by a crystalline firmament.
Oh, ancient wisdom on the bingo card. Look at this thing someone said thousands of years ago. It must be true.
After this, on the second day, he placed the heaven over the whole world and separated it from the other parts, and he determined it should stand by itself. He also placed a crystalline firmament around it, and put it together in a manner agreeable to the earth, and fitted it for giving moisture and rain, and affording the advantage of dews. That's from the book Antiquities of the Jews. The people from all regions of earth knew what this place looked like and the nature of things within. It's not only the Bible that supports this information, but it certainly does. Genesis 1, 6-8 says, "And God said, Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so."
Yeah, I don't know why he said it like that. I mean, there's probably a reason he said it like that, but ugh.
God called the firmament heaven. Job 37:18 says, "Can you, with him, spread out the skies, strong as a molten mirror?" Sounds like a solid structure to me. Amos 9:6, "The one who builds his upper chambers in the heavens and has founded his vaulted dome over the earth, he who calls for the waters of the sea and pours them out on the face of the earth, the Lord is his name, and has founded his vaulted dome over the earth." There's really no other way to interpret that. The Quran supports flat earth. Let's read a little passage here. Who made the earth
I'm gonna skip past the section of him taking poetic things literally.
There have been things that have been deleted and erased from history. Everything up until the 1500s when the Jesuits began pushing heliocentrism. This isn't just some primitive idiocy where the ancients were too stupid to figure out that the earth was a spinning ball. They had it down packed, and it was the truth then, and it's the truth now. It's the reason why NASA had to pretend like they lost the technology to supposedly go back to the moon.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
And why they always say that they can't leave low Earth orbit.
Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we
They're
can
literally
go.
talking about budget realities of NASA. They're literally talking about the fact that they do not have the resources to, on their own, do a moon mission the way they would like to. Toriador says, fun fact, totally unrelated to the Dark Ages. Did you know that a 2020 study showed that people close to 50% of Americans are functionally illiterate? Oh, yay!
Kinds of technologies that we're testing out on space station are definitely helping us with our goals of going beyond low Earth orbit.
It's the reason that scientist Michio Kaku says things like this.
Usually in science, if we're off by a factor of 2 or a factor of 10, we call that horrible. We say something's wrong with the theory. We're off by a factor of 10. However, in cosmology, we're off by a factor of 10 to the 120. That is 1 with 120 zeros after it. This is the largest mismatch between theory and experiment in the history of science.
Back to the domed set of the Goyam show. The Truman Show.
Overt anti-Semitism on the bingo card! We did it! Overt! Fuck me, that's bad! Oh boy! Yikerinos! Overt anti-Semitism on the bingo card!
One day,
that is also a strike, yeah.
Truman is walking outside to go to work, and a stage light that serves as a fake star falls from the mini-dome that he lives in. The light is labeled Sirius 9 Canis Major. Sirius is a real star. It's a binary star, known as the dog star and the brightest star in the night sky. This was a very important luminary to the ancients, and to this day remains a very significant, if not the most significant star to Freemasonry and the occult in general. In a book called Morals and Dogma, 33rd degree Freemason Albert Pike wrote, "The blazing star in our lodges, we have already said, represents Sirius." So when you see this, Sirius. This, Sirius. This, Sirius. A Masonic tracing board, Sirius. And look at this. Here on the left pillar we have the sun.
Thank you for 30 months.
On the right pillar we have the moon, encircled by the 7 planets of the ancients, which I have made a video called Flat Earth, 7 Planets of the Universe.
Can you guys see this, like, light thing that's right here? Fuck is that? Can't figure out how to get rid of it.
Wandering stars. Check it out. I'll link it in the description. And in the middle here, there is a stairway to Sirius. It's on the back of the dollar bill, blazing behind the all-seeing eye. And yeah, obviously it's very important esoterically. Do a search for metal balls fall from the sky. And what you find is very similar to what we see here in this scene from the Truman Show. Seems to be happening all over the place. Are these metal spheres actually fake stars in our night sky?
No.
Or are they something else?
They're not.
I don't really know, but it's absolutely strange.
The sky is falling! The sky is falling! The sky is falling! Are you crazy?
Another thing worth researching is the NASA patent for an artificial sun. This is from the 50s or 60s. Pretty scary because it's probably already in use. I mean, is this whole world really that fake? It reminds me of that scene from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy where Arthur and Slarta Bartfast are riding the lift and seeing how planets are created. Of course, I feel it necessary to mention that Earth is not a planet, because planets are actually a particular kind of star. But this movie
They're not. They really, really aren't.
holds the same deception that we are taught in schools, of course. The idea here is that what if everything is artificially made? Here's a guy.
Yeah, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy are absurdist humor books that I enjoy. And I even like the movie for what it is, though it is not the books. But there are sections of it I enjoy. You're not supposed to take it literally. You're not supposed to take it and go, yeah, this is real. It's a joke. It's supposed to be absurd in how silly the idea is. It's over the top. Kind of fun.
Painting the rocks. A guy filling up the ocean. Ridiculous sounding, yeah, and I don't want to believe that, but it makes things much more like the Truman Show if that is the case. Regardless if the sun is fake or not, or if there is a fake sun up there somewhere, we know that the sun is local.
I actually don't. I don't have a Blu-ray or DVD of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie. I do have the BBC series, which I haven't gotten a chance to watch yet, but I do have that.
As depicted in the ancient cosmologies, it's here within the dome. You can trace the rays of the sun to its source to see that it's close. If it was 93 million miles away, you wouldn't be able to do this.
Except it is, and it does, so...
And the moon is at a similar distance. Okay, it's not 238,000 miles away. 5 years ago, I would have thought someone that is saying these things that I am saying now would belong in an insane asylum. After years of research, it's become painfully obvious that this is all too real. Anyway, the Truman Show is very telling, and it's funny how the logo for the Truman Show has the NASA blue marble in it. Gives away the fact that the false spinning globe model is merely a prison for your mind.
Is that what he thinks the
There's a deleted scene
idea
from the
was?
Truman Show that is of great interest for Flat Earth, and I'll roll it right now.
Personally, I think the unconquered south face is the only one worth scaling. It's a 20,000-foot sheer wall of ice, but that's never stopped me before. Risk? Of course I'm aware of the risks. Thank you for your concern.
Don't you find it strange that in this movie that already contains major in-your-face symbolism for Flat Earth, that they even considered doing a scene like that, talking about...
No, because Truman, as a running joke in it, does different weird things in the mirror. Different, like, expeditions, pretends he's on different adventures. It's him exercising the want to be an explorer, because as you brought up earlier, that's one of his character traits.
about ice walls.
Opinion on the Machete films? I actually haven't seen them.
In the most accepted flat Earth model, Antarctica is not a continent like it is on the bottom of the false globe model, but it's a massive ring of ice that holds everything we know of within. These walls are nearly 200 feet high, and when you do your research, are more plausible than
Do your research on the bingo card.
you first think. Admiral Richard E. Byrd completed many missions to do with Antarctica. Some of them included names like Operation High Jump or Operation Deep Freeze. High Jump because the walls are huge and it would have been quite the task to get up there. Also, this reminds me of a Jacques Cousteau documentary called Voyage to the Edge of the World that's about going to Antarctica. Seriously, if you currently believe that you live on a tilted, wobbling, and spinning ball that's flying through outer space at over a half...
By the way, people, the P.O. box is coming up on, getting renewed soon, and I'm trying to figure out if I want to renew it or not. I know one person was going to send me some VHS stuff, but there haven't been stuff in the P.O. box in quite a while, and it's, you know, it's not nothing to, buy. So, what do you guys think? Let me know. Should I keep it? Should I not? If, other than the VHS, if no one else is planning on doing anything anytime soon, probably going to cancel it, just because it doesn't get used a ton anymore.
500,000 miles per hour, then you gotta learn that this world is not what you think it is. Curvature cannot be measured, and motion has never been detected, despite what you might think.
Motion has actually been detected.
Or what you have been told.
Flat earthers even have done it. Remember Bob Nodell's 15 degrees per hour thing when he bought the laser gyroscope?
There are no experiments that prove curvature or motion. Before I get out of here, I want to bring these last few things to your attention. Another interesting part of this movie is the fact that the creator of The Truman Show is named Christoph. That's easily comparable to Christ.
I mean, yeah, that might actually be intentional on the part of the writer. It's pretty thinly veiled that he has kind of a god complex in the movie. Fenekagami says, man, I really get tired of that people don't understand that language evolves and that people in the past can get things wrong. The original meaning of words are interesting, but often irrelevant. There's a book literally called The F Word about the evolution of the meaning of the F word. I hate this constant trust of ancient knowledge just because our ancestors got a few things right. It is. It's frustrating.
When you look at his name and the way it's spelt. Christ of. And one of the names of the network executives is Moses. At the end of the movie, Truman appears to be walking on water, and before he makes his exit out of the mini-dome, he's talking to Christoph, whose voice sounds like it's coming from the sun.
Truman, you can speak. I can hear you.
Then Truman puts his body in the shape of a cross. And finally,
taking a bow.
Heavily encoded film, extremely symbolic to the point where it's just mind-blowing. Like I said at the beginning of this video, you are the true man.
Why do these people not understand themes? Because themes are abstract.
And you really...
They aren't things that they're literally watching happen. They're connections you make between actions within a piece. They have trouble filling in the blanks accurately, so they can't come up with thematic meaning, because the thematic meaning of things, usually in a good piece of media, isn't outright stated. That would be poor. It would be just expositing your themes. So usually it involves having to connect A to B to C and coming to conclusions yourself, and these people are not very good at that. Conspiracy theorists are not very good at picking up on the meaning of connections people are sending through their art or communications in general.
We are living in a much larger version of The Truman Show.
What's the deadline for getting something to you? The renewal would be on, I think, the 15th, so you'd have to send stuff like right away, basically.
In case I don't see ya. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
What's up, everybody? This is ODD. Real quick, while I have you here, I just wanted to share these really cool flat earth pendants with you guys. I got my hands on one and I really love it. It's a solid piece, very well made. It's handcrafted.
How much is the box? It's like $90 a year or something, I think.
Out of sterling silver, and I believe it's also gold.
I would also accept tips towards it. If y'all want to keep the box and you want to use the tip link to send money towards it, I would be happy to that's cheap, not for me. So if you want to use the tip link to help pay for the P.O. box, feel free. H-Baird says, so filmmakers use religious imagery in their films. Who'da thunk it? Yeah, right? Wait till he sees a Zack Snyder film. Fenekagami says, to be fair, I often miss themes and stuff, but I sure as shit don't miss the mark as bad as these guys.
So as time goes on and, you know...
Shilling on the bingo card.
Wear it.
Oh, sorry, $90 for 6 months. My bad.
Or you wear it, it starts to fade.
Does this count as shilling? Oh, him? Sure. We'll count that as shilling on the bingo card. Oh, thanks, Spokane Dogman. Yeah, I liked doing the documentary.
And it kind of gives it this ancient medallion effect. It's really cool. But I'm going to put some information here on the screen and some links down in the description. And if you want to get your hands on one, just go ahead and contact Camilla. Thank you, Camilla. Thank you, Wojtek, for hooking this up, man. You guys are awesome. Much love.
Thanks for watching ODD TV. If you
Let's see what's next.
Welcome to another edition of the Truth Zone. As always, this is your host, Truth Seeker here. And what you are looking at is there was a chemical plant explosion in Georgia. It seems like there's a lot of this stuff happening recently, and it seems as if we are under chemical warfare. Because right here, biolab plant fire. Georgia residents evacuate as toxic smoke billows from chemical-fueled inferno. And supposedly, the story they are giving is this was supposedly an accident. Another accident, another mysterious fire started by something that was just a freak accident.
Yep, that happens, especially when you cut regulations, like Trump spent 4 years doing. That was one of his campaign promises. And like that was a thing he was big on, was cutting regulations and safety. What do you think happens when you do that? More accidents happen. They didn't come up with regulations for no reason. There's a reason they say regulations are written in blood.
At least that is the story they are running with, as always, because they are not going to come right out and tell you the truth about this. Because right here, look, it says, a fire reignited Sunday at a chemical facility in Conyers, officials said, forcing evacuations of local residents and leading to several road closures, including I-20. And they are telling people to remain indoors and keep windows closed. And it's saying that the fire started at about 5 a.m. after a sprinkler head malfunctioned. Yeah, I definitely believe that story about a sprinkler head malfunctioning and causing a major fire like that to leak out all of those chemicals.
Proportionality bias. This is an interesting one. Human beings have this problem where we assume that things that have big results must have big ignition sources. We assume that things that are a big deal must have a big reason for happening. Like, think of the JFK assassination, you know? People assume, oh wow, one guy just shot a president? That's impossible. The president's so important and it has such a big impact. One person couldn't do that. They can. There's no relation inherently between how big and impressive an instigating incident is to the results. Our brains think that there is, but there isn't. Yes, accidents that cause widespread pain and suffering can just happen because of a small little mistake, or not even a mistake, just a thing that happens. Little tiny thing. It sucks, but that's the nature of life. You need to be able to deal with that, otherwise you start seeing conspiracies everywhere when bad stuff happens.
And to affect the area. This is what these people are doing. You've seen it recently in Ohio again and other places. And then on top of that, even all of the crazy stuff going on with the weather. And even right here, one of their cards is a...
When he says one of their cards, there was a card game in the 90s called Illuminati. I have some of the instructions for the card game around here somewhere. Here they are. It's a card game from the 90s. It's just themed after conspiracy theories, but of course conspiracy theorists are still obsessed with this card game to this day because they assume it was them telling all their secrets via a card game.
A lab explosion. Gee. That is more truth in plain sight because these people are doing anything and everything in their power to take out as much people as they possibly can, because this is all part of their agenda, because they want to take out half of the population. They do. And they are going to stop at nothing to make this a reality.
To be clear, lab explosions are in this because that's a thing that goes back to at least the 70s, when like bioterrorist organizations that were against like either labs being used to do research towards like war or animal testing, and they'd go in and they'd plant bombs and they'd blow up labs. This isn't some abstract idea about a thing that hadn't happened. This is a reference to things that had already happened.
Even if they have to use chemicals to do so, and all this crazy stuff going on with the weather also to do so, because they have the technology in place to mess with the weather.
Weather control / harp on the bingo card.
Another thing I wanted to talk about is this port stuff.
Eco-terrorist, thank you.
This port strike. It looks like it's going to happen. I know I talked about this in a previous video, in a previous show, but it looks like as of Tuesday, when you're watching this video, it's probably already Tuesday, but it looks like this port strike is
I would love one, Anna the Lost, absolutely.
Going to happen at the start.
Send it to the P.O. box. Maybe this is someone will donate, and then I'll try and push it over the next week or so, ask for tips towards the P.O. box, and we'll see. Maybe we'll get enough where we can keep going.
Part of October. Maybe this is part of the October surprise. Maybe, just maybe, but regardless, make no mistake about it, this is not good news, especially if this lingers on for quite some time. Who knows how long that this is going to last? I hope that it's only a short-term thing, maybe a couple of days, but if this lasts a couple of months, that's when things...
I can't imagine it's going to be days.
are really going to get interesting.
Breaking news in the looming strike for union workers at major shipping ports along the East Coast. Thousands are set to hit the picket line.
Manufactured a lot of different
nations. Caitlin Becker, thank you so much for following it and explaining.
Port strike.
Thanks, Anna.
That is looking more and more likely that it's going to take place. That's a lot of different locations. That's going to affect a lot of different areas. And who knows how long this is going to last, but
Nucleus Sass, thanks for following.
This is all done by design. Between this and, again, as I stated earlier, the weather stuff and everything else, this is all done by design. Think about it. They're going to go on strike now, especially when there's areas still dealing with storm damage from a manufactured.
Kind of thought it was... I'm going to have to look into it more, but I think some of it was worries about automation.
Storm. It's just ridiculous, everything happening. But this is all planned because this is all part of their agenda. They want to collapse the old way. They want to collapse the old system, and they want to bring in their new order system. This is what these people want. And they are going to stop at nothing to do this. And speaking of the storm stuff, these are some photos from North Carolina. And prayers to all of the people.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of right-wing people claiming that the hurricane is manufactured by Democrats in order to hurt Republicans' chances during the election. Not joking, heard some of them say that.
This recent crazy storm. I can only imagine what these people are dealing with.
Unstable Deadbeat, thank you for the $25 tip, says for the P.O. box. Thank you very much. Gets us closer.
And it's all
also gets us closer to the next costume month, so that's a nice bonus too.
Done by design, and it's just pathetic and sad how evil these people are. And how they are going to stop at nothing to take us out by any means necessary, either by the weather or by starving us, and the list goes on and on and on. One way or the other, they are stopping at nothing to try and play God, but they will never be God. There is only one true God, and God is going to have enough of this.
Oh, fuck. Nemesaur with a $90 tip says, keep the P.O. box. I might actually remember to send those cinematic Titanic DVDs. Well, thank you very much. Looks like we'll be keeping the P.O. box. Thank you, everyone. We did it. Woo! Seriously, this community's awesome.
Very soon.
Thank you, Nemesaur, and thank you, Unstable Deadbeat, for your tips.
And even like it says in the Bible, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And I'm just paraphrasing that scripture, but That's what the scripture says. And it's, about going through trials and tribulations and stuff. But joy will
But you are awesome, Jay's a proxy.
come.
Deal with it.
So hold on a little while longer. And I am truly praying for these people. I truly am. And right here it even says the city of Asheville announced that nearly 100,000 residents may be without access to water for weeks. This is getting more and more crazy by the day.
Yeah, it's a tragedy, and I hope they're given all the relief that they need. It's a terrible situation. It wasn't a plan, though. Benekagami says they're also claiming that Democrats are withholding aid from Republican areas, like Trump tried to do during COVID.
More scary by the day. And it's looking more and more likely that this was another manipulated event. That's just my honest...
This is vibes-based conspiracy, obviously, though we already have that. I can't believe that these people seriously, just based on the fact that, I don't know, this is a bad thing that happened, must be evil plans. Bad things just happen all the time.
Opinion.
Not the only thing that happen, it's not the majority of things that happen, but it does happen consistently, so you need to learn to deal with that and accept it, and learn how to, deal with these things realistically, instead of looking for an evil cartoon villain to blame for all your problems.
And I can only imagine what else is to come. They'll probably try to do more stuff with the weather. It really would not surprise me. Of course, people want to make this political too. They want to say, oh, they're attacking the red states and stuff like that. But in a sense, these states, they've pretty much herded these people into these different states. Like, oh, hey, come here. This is a red state. And the list goes on and on and on. And this is just a
yes, people have clearly been herded.
Preview of their future, because in the future, they want people to be herded in to these 15-minute cities that they want to build. They want to destroy...
Imagine being able to be within walking distance of supermarkets and parks. What a nightmare.
Certain areas and build 15-minute cities. Make no mistake about it. And I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. I'm just reporting on all the crazy stuff going on right now. And I hate to even show this Crypt Keeper on screen.
Ooh, Clinton's on the bingo card.
But she made some interesting comments again, talking about how she thinks something might happen in October. Listen to this clip.
Have you heard of an October surprise? There's literally a word for it.
And I anticipate that, something will happen in October, as it always does. The Russians, as I said earlier, are very active in this election. We know the Iranians are active as well. Chinese uses TikTok, or they certainly did against Biden and for Trump. I think they're a little less pro-Trump right now. So you look at where people...
And of course, the Crypt Keeper wants to make this political, obviously, because she
wants to make this political about the election? She's trying to make the presidential election political? As much as everything is political, you know what's really political? Political elections on the national level.
Political.
Goddamn Hillary Clinton trying to make checks notes, the presidential election political.
Filled herself. And politics are all a sham. And they want to make this about Trump versus Kamala. They want to make this about the left versus the right, as always, because they want people riled up. They do. They want to create more and more tension, more and more chaos. They want to create a civil war by any means necessary. And it's seeming more and more likely that something major is on the horizon, because why else would she mention that about October? And I'm sure pretty much all of you have heard about...
Because of October surprises.
The October surprise stuff. So, again, who knows what they have planned? But make no mistake about it, there is some crazy things on the way. I hate that it's going to happen the way that it is. But it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. It is. I want things to get better.
Benikagami says it's always everyone else making things political. Am I right? It's never their group making things political.
I want to be
never
optimistic for the future, but the way things are going right now, it's kind of bleak. But all I can do is trust in God. And another interesting thing, and speaking of Donald Trump, he continues to talk about how he is going to use Elon Musk in his presidency, when he's president, when Trump is president, I should say. Let me word that better. And he keeps talking about how he's going to use Elon Musk. Listen to this clip.
And you know what I'm going to let Elon do? Unless you people disagree, I'm going to get Elon, and he's great at this. He's going to be our cost cutter. I think he can save trillions, right? He wants to do it so badly. I don't think I can get him full-time because he's a little bit busy sending rockets up and all the things he does. But he's so much into that. He said the waste in this country is crazy, and we're going to get Elon Musk to be our cost cutter. He's going to do it for zero. He doesn't want anything. But he wants to see this come.
Please don't let Elon Musk anywhere near any governmental control. Genuinely a horror show.
This country be great, and he'll do it. And having his endorsement is a great endorsement. We have some really great endorsements, I will tell you that. But we'll get him involved, and mostly on that side of it. And it's.
I didn't catch it. What?
And he'll do it. He doesn't want anything, but he wants to see this country be great, and he'll do it. And having his endorsement is a great endorsement. We have some really great endorsements, I will tell you that. But we'll get him involved, and mostly on that side of it. And it's going to be incredible what he'll be able to do without hurting anybody. Just waste. It's waste, fraud, and abuse. Do you ever hear the expression waste, fraud, and abuse? You get rid of that, everybody lives much better. We have a country that's really strong again.
Yeah, Elon's such an amazing guy when he has openly worn the Baphomet costume called Devil's Champion, showcasing an upside down.
I do appreciate that the one time he wore this edgelord Halloween costume will mean that a certain segment of tinfoil people will never trust Elon because he decided to be an edgy boy, and they're like, he's demonic.
Cross on the back of the costume. But yeah, he's a great guy when he wants to keep microchipping people in their brains. Yeah, Trump, he's a great guy. All of these people are part of the same club. All of these people are part of the same system. They are all part of the false light, including this woman right here, Roseanne Barr. She's another one of them that is pretending that she is speaking out against the
yeah, microchipping on the bingo card if we have it.
System. But she is part of their club. I mean, look at her jacket alone.
Houndstooth.
And this was a interview that she did with Tucker Carlson.
Tracking microchip implants, yes.
Tucker Carlson's part of the club too. And yeah, nice jacket there. She is definitely...
Did I miss some? I assume he's thinking the black and white checkerboard, but this is Houndstooth. Does Houndstooth count? It's not technically checkerboard, it's Houndstooth.
A part of the club.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
And of course, she has to go on a rant to look like she's pretty much lost her mind. The outside public is viewing it as that. But she talks about what is really going on behind the scenes. And this is more truth in plain sight. Check out this clip.
You know they eat babies. That is not bullshit. It's true.
So I did want to cover this.
It's not just the dogs and the cats, not just the pets.
It's not just the dogs and the cats. They're full-on vampires. And everybody's...
Vampires on the bingo card. We did it. Someone wanted vampires earlier. Did they get bingo?
Still thinks I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. They're full-on vampires. They love the taste of human flesh, and they drink human blood. They do, Tucker. Stop staring at me like that.
You're freaking me out, man. Because you spent your life in the entertainment business, so I think you have some authority on this.
And of course, they want to try to treat it as a joke in a roundabout way when Tucker Carlson was saying, oh, it's not just about the dogs.
No, they didn't say adrenochrome. They just said blood. They have to actually say it.
It's not just about the cats.
That's vampires.
Referring probably to the stuff in Springfield, Ohio, with the Haitians or whatever. But this is all just absolutely laughable. They are treating this like it's a joke, but this stuff is really going down in Hollywood. This stuff really goes down in the political world. It does. These people are all part of the same club, including Roseanne, including Trump, including Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Biden, Kamala. The list goes on and on and on. All of these people are part of the same club. And speaking of Kamala, she is being interviewed by Steven Jackson, who was involved in another major event, and I will let you put two and two together, but check out his jacket. Oh yeah, more of that checkerboard garbage right out there for everybody to see, because again, all of these people are part of the same club. They are playing their roles in this system known as politics. And
Unstable Deadbeat says, I asked for vampires. It wasn't because I was one away. It was because I had so few spaces and was desperate for anything. And that state continues, unfortunately. Sorry to hear it. Social Warlock says, fun fact from Elon Musk's biography, when he was working on the first rockets for SpaceX and they had failure after failure, he told the engineers, we're wasting too much time and money on all these tacky safety checks and safety features. Let's, for the next rocket, strip it down to just the top 10 things we need to get to space. So in the third rocket they tried sending to space, they took out the baffles that are typically in the fuel tank that the rocket exploded, and if it was raised up a few thousand more meters, the debris would have been overpopulated areas, and his only reaction was, I guess we need to do the top 11 things. Wow, what shit.
Speaking of playing their roles, this is supposed to be Shania Twain on the left now. On the right, that's Shania Twain. You tell me what's going on here now.
Aging? Someone getting older.
I know things exist like plastic surgery and stuff like that.
I mean, she doesn't even look that different. She just looks like she got older and her skin got a little looser, as happens to all of us. And her hair's a different style. She looks good, I think. I don't know what. She's just older.
But does that even look like the same?
Yeah, it does.
Person to you? It doesn't to me. But maybe I'm just being too much of a conspiracy theorist. Maybe, just maybe. Or maybe there's something more going on there. Because even right here, this headline, fans are questioning if this is even the same person. And this is just more truth in plain sight, because
not literally.
This is what these people do. They replace these celebrities. They clone them. They replace them. They use these celebrities in other roles and have somebody else play the role of said celebrity. And the list goes on and on and on. This also happens all the time in politics, too. I mean, look at Biden. Look how many different Bidens that we've had. And the list goes on and on and on. And it's just more truth in plain sight. For tuning in to another edition of the Truth Zone, please like this video, comment down below, share the channel, share this video wherever you could think of sharing it, turn on the bell icon, and select all notifications so you will never miss another upload on the channel. God bless you and your families, and this is Truth Seeker signing out.
Beautiful.
on social. My website is creativelightwellness.org.
I came across this interview and I just saw a segment of it that was very brief, and I want to cover it because it just seemed odd.
That's the correct information.
Didn't even know her own handles.
No. I just know how to talk.
Are you still doing, so another funny thing, are you still doing the coffee thing? Because I still have one of your stickers on my wallet from when we were in Colorado like 2.5 years ago.
Interestingly enough, my day job right now, I am a district manager for another coffee company that's local here in Montana, but no, my own, I actually am trying to sell it. So if anybody is interested, it's just hard for one person to manage it. So if there's, a couple of people or a group of people that would be able to do it, it's pretty simple stuff, but I mean, it's fun.
Oh, well, if you're not going to own it anymore, I'm going to rip that sticker off my fucking
Rip it
wallet.
off. Fuck off. Rip it off. Yeah.
Well, what do you guys want to talk about tonight? Because usually when we have you on, we either talk about putting things in your butt, things that come out of your butt, ways you can make things come out of your butt easier, the sounds that come out of your butt. So, I mean, where do you want to start? There's lots of butt talk, or we can go in a different direction. Whatever else you guys are thinking on.
I have a
these days.
super great idea, and it does come out of your butt, but everywhere else too. Parasites. Let's talk parasites because you guys, this is the thing. And I'm telling you, there is so much information coming out right now about how cancer is actually just parasitic in nature.
It is not. That is incorrect. She's doing a jelly juice type thing where she blames everything on parasites. She's wrong. Everything she's saying here is wrong.
In many cases, they're finding autism has been, I'm just going to say it, cured.
No, for a whole variety of reasons.
Because they were able to get out the worm or the parasitic, stuff that is controlling, or
when I said I had brain worms, this is not what I meant.
Or causing those kids to be on the spectrum or however they record that. I don't know. I don't like labels, but parasites are something that I have been, this is kind of gross, but I've been delving into a little bit more because
Yummy.
We're finding out that it is actually at the root of most things. And
that is not true. This woman is a scam artist and a liar or delusional, one or the other. Amber says, to jump off of what Trey said, we've all heard about how the steel isn't treated on the Cybertruck because the truck has no top coat. Anytime it gets scratched, the damage is to the metal itself. This means that instead of just buffing out a scratch, you have to literally take a sander and grind the top layer of metal off. You have to do it in large sections to maintain the appearance, and it takes like dozens of man-hours because you have to change the grinder's grit multiple times. Yeah, there's a Cybertruck in town where I live, and it is, every time you see it, it looks dirty. It looks awful. It looks disgusting. It's so weird how they didn't see that this was going to be an issue.
And so we can talk about how to get them out or the different types that they are. And the frequency medicine that I do in my practice, I can actually test people to see if they have a large parasite load. And then we go down the road of trying to evict them, as I like to say. So
that is a gross string of words together.
No way. I love it. I want to hear how to get these out. Let's talk.
Well, yeah, let's start with like the definition of parasite. Both of you can give your own ideas because I know you have kind of different perspectives a little bit because Janet was an RN. Shannon is a doctor of holistic medicine. Is that how you say that?
I am a board certified doctor of natural health. So
okay, there we go.
What board certified you?
Close enough. You know what I mean. But
I gotcha.
Let's start with that, Janet. What's your definition of parasite from a allopathic perspective?
Think about worms and little crawly creatures, right? One of the most famous ones, of course, is found in pork a lot, the trichomonas, or for you sushi lovers out there, lots of worms in raw seafood.
Damn it.
Well, I hate it for a reason. Hey.
I've never seen any, so it doesn't exist, right?
Oh,
that is how you operate.
One of the gross things is that there are even parasites that you find in your fruits that you buy from the grocery store. And so there's little ways that you can clean your especially berries that you get from the store, and it's vinegar, baking soda, and water, and they will come pouring out if they are present.
And what? It doesn't make it taste like ass, like vinegar ass?
Nope. So
is there a certain way to do it so that it doesn't taste like vinegar? Because I know that fruit is going to absorb that, or anything it can.
It's just a little bit of vinegar. It doesn't take a whole lot.
I feel like this is just pageant. Oh. I'm gonna save this Tim Curry video for one of my Halloween videos this month. Speaking of which, it is the spooky month, so that's good. We're gonna be doing patron-only / YouTube member-only live streams every Sunday. We're gonna be spooky themed. Watching public domain horror movies, watching Halloween-themed stuff that isn't necessarily movies, horror trivia. It'll be good. I think we're going to end a little early tonight because it's the first stream of the month and I'm kind of tired and hungry. We're going to end a little early. Oh, thank you, Rick M. That's great. Amber says, if you want more fun times dunking on Elon, some more news just dropped. Another anti-Elon episode. It's an hour long and it's all about what a terrible designer Elon is. Nice. All right, let's see. Let's raid VC Archives.
Was blurred.
I will be back tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly what we'll be doing, but it will be fun. Can you raid Granny? Sure, you asked. So let's see. We'll raid Granny. Granny? Alright. Have some more news as SMN. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. Love you, Mr. Blast. Hope you have a great night. And I'll see you tomorrow. Should be good. We're getting close to the end of another costume month. Don't worry, by the way. I know I'm taking too long to get that Spock outfit because I've been broke. So, I will give you like a week of Spock costume for free because you didn't get to use it during this costume month. Anyway, my ADHD has told me that's enough. So have a good night, everyone. I'll see you soon.